Right this minute, someone you know is sitting in their parked car eating an entire sleeve of Oreos, and they have absolutely no idea why they are doing it. Secret eating is not a matter of weak willpower. It is not about being a bad person. It is about something much deeper occurring inside your brain. And truthfully, once you finally understand it, a lot of your own strange food habits are going to make a whole lot more sense. Look, almost all of us have been there in some way. Perhaps you have eaten while standing at the kitchen counter, so it somehow doesn't count. Maybe you have strategically planned your snack trips for exactly when your roommate leaves the house. Or perhaps you have literally stashed food in bizarre hiding spots like it is illegal contraband. There is zero judgment here, because what is happening on a psychological level is truly fascinating. Here is the core truth about secret eating. It almost always begins with shame. And shame is an absolute monster when it comes to human behavior. Think about it from this angle. You feel awful about your eating habits, so you choose to hide them. But hiding the food makes you feel even worse because now you are not just eating incorrectly, you are also being actively deceptive. This creates even more shame, which directly makes you want to hide even more. Do you see the trap? It is an endless psychological hamster wheel, and your brain is completely exhausted. Clinical studies demonstrate that secrecy surrounding eating actually elevates the emotional distress connected to food. You are no longer just dealing with the physical act. You are managing the elaborate cover-up. That mental burden is massive, but here is exactly where it gets intriguing. Secret eating is never random. Your brain is actually following a highly specific pattern, and once you recognize it, you simply cannot unsee it. Secret eating very often develops as an act of rebellion. Yes, you heard that correctly, rebellion. Perhaps you grew up in a household where food was strictly controlled. Clean your plate. No dessert until you finish your green vegetables. Don't eat that, it is bad for you. And your developing brain immediately filed that information away as someone else holds the power to decide what I consume. Fast forward to your current adulthood. You are earning your own money and purchasing your own groceries, but that old psychological dynamic still lingers in the background. Consequently, secret eating turns into this desperate act of reclaiming personal autonomy. It is your subconscious brain declaring, actually, I am the one in control now. Except, here is the plot twist. You are not truly in control if you are cowering in your pantry at midnight feeling intensely guilty about it. In psychology, this phenomenon is called reactance. Whenever we feel our personal freedom is being threatened, we tend to do the exact opposite of what we are instructed to do, even if the only person currently threatening that freedom is ourselves. It is pretty wild, isn't it? Now, let us shift to brain chemistry, because this is precisely where secret eating sinks its hooks in so deeply. When you consume food, particularly something highly sweet, fatty, or salty, your brain instantly releases dopamine. That is your primary feel-good neurotransmitter. But here is the major kicker. The act of secrecy significantly amplifies that dopamine response. The quiet sneaking around, the sudden thrill of getting away with it, the profound relief of finally being completely alone with your food, all of that dramatically adds to the internal reward. Your brain is not merely getting a chemical hit from the snack itself. It is getting a massive hit from the entire hidden experience, which means secret eating can become legitimately addictive in a strict neurological sense. You are not fundamentally weak. Your brain is simply doing exactly what it evolved over millennia to do, consistently repeat behaviors that make it feel exceptionally good. And the absolute worst part is that the crushing guilt afterward does not magically cancel out the initial dopamine spike. It merely ensures you will feel terrible enough to crave another comforting hit later on. So, if your own brain is actively working against you, how do you actually stop this cycle? Here is the highly counterintuitive answer. The real solution to secret eating is making absolutely everything completely visible. I am talking about freely eating what you desire, exactly when you want it, but purposely doing it out in the open. Eat at a proper table, on a real plate, and ideally with other people sitting around you. This works because secrecy strictly requires shame in order to survive. The very moment you intentionally remove the secrecy, the underlying shame immediately begins losing its grip. Extensive research on various eating disorders clearly shows that one of the single most effective interventions is simply normalizing everyday eating behaviors. The minute you stop strictly categorizing specific foods as either good or bad, and the moment you finally stop hiding, your brain stops treating that food like a forbidden golden treasure. This transformation certainly does not happen overnight. Your brain possesses years of deep wiring telling you that particular foods absolutely must be consumed in secret. However, every single time you actively choose visibility, every time you eat that chocolate chip cookie openly at the kitchen table instead of hiding in your parked car, you are slowly rewiring that deep-seated pattern. Breaking this cycle also requires understanding something absolutely crucial. Visibility is not merely about the physical location where you eat. It is equally about being brutally honest with yourself regarding exactly why you are eating in the first place. Are you physically hungry right now, or are you simply bored, highly stressed, feeling lonely, or actively avoiding a completely different problem entirely? When you begin asking yourself these difficult questions without any harsh judgment, using only genuine, gentle curiosity, you start to uncover the true emotional triggers behind the secret eating. You realize your brain has been desperately using food as a quick solution to complex problems that food cannot ever actually solve, and that newfound awareness is exactly where genuine, lasting change finally begins. Because here is the ultimate secret to all of this. Profound self-compassion is everything. Habitual secret eaters are very often their own absolute harshest critics. You would never dream of talking to a close friend the way you routinely talk to yourself about food choices. That relentless internal criticism acts as premium fuel for the ongoing shame cycle. Psychological studies consistently show that individuals who actively practice self-compassion regarding their eating habits are significantly less likely to binge or consume food in secret. When you can finally look at a situation and say, "I just ate an entire pizza, and that is perfectly okay because I am only human," instead of immediately thinking, "I am completely disgusting and permanently broken," you instantly unplug shame's primary power source. This is not about constantly making weak excuses for yourself. It is about fundamentally recognizing that brutally punishing yourself has never once led to permanent, positive change. Real compassion actually does. Therefore, here is the main message I want you to take away from all of this. If you are currently a secret eater, you are not broken in any way. You are not magically lacking basic willpower. Your complex brain is simply trapped in an outdated pattern that likely served a very real purpose a long time ago. Perhaps it offered necessary protection, a sense of quiet rebellion, or much-needed comfort, but it certainly does not serve your best interests anymore. The ultimate way out of this trap is not found through piling on more strict restrictions or inventing harder rules. The escape route is paved entirely through open visibility, deep self-compassion, and the fundamental understanding that food is literally just food. The act of eating it does not ever make you a good person or a bad person. You are completely allowed to eat. You are fully allowed to genuinely enjoy your food. And you are absolutely, without a doubt, allowed to do all of it without ever needing to hide again.